Welcome back, and you're watching Commodity Champions. Let's now shift our focus to India's agriculture sector. According to the GDP data for the second quarter, there appears to be a slowdown in growth in the sector. The government has taken a series of measures to control the rising inflation by imposing export curbs and stock limits. We are now joined by Cargill India's President Simon George on India's agriculture sector outlook, Cargill's plans on India, and much more. Simon, hi, thank you so much for joining us. It has been a very volatile year for various asset classes, and agriculture has been no different. Whether it has been about El Nino or the government measures, especially when you look at India, how do you see it in regards to agriculture as a space, and how would you look at 2024 as the year coming in?
I think 2023, as I recollect now, it's actually a mixed performance in terms of all our businesses, because most of our businesses are aligned to the agricultural products. And if you look at Cargill as an overall performance, I think we have businesses which has done extremely well. We have businesses which are struggling for margins. But overall, I would say as an organization, we felt that in spite of this difficult situation, especially from a geopolitical and in terms of the poor monsoon, we were able to offset it through a lot more innovation in the way we work. I think most of our businesses have done quite well, but there is margin pressure overall in the business across our supply chain. I think that's what is reflected in what is our first 6 months of performance. But we're looking forward. The next 6 months looks to be pretty strong.
Simon, as you say that the next 6 months do look promising, so what commodities, what crops, what businesses do you think will do well? And how would you look at prices going forward for many of these agri-commodities?
Let me take, for example, edible oil. And I think what you need to look at is the global supply chain. I think what we see in both Brazil and Argentina is a good crop that's coming across from a soya bean, which means there could be a decent supply point. Similarly, with sunflower, from what we understand is both Europe and the Black Sea have good harvest of sunflower seeds, which means that gives a much more stability. You saw in India itself, the rapeseed oil production is going up. So the only thing that we see could be a little negative could be the palm oil, because whether the El Nino effect could have an effect on the crops in Malaysia and Indonesia, which could affect the second half of 24. But looking forward from the first half of 24, 6 months down the line, there is going to be a stable supplies because we will be with abundant supplies across the world. And I don't see a big price a jump or a price going down further, because we are almost hitting the rock bottom right now in terms of the edible oil prices.
Simon, also let me talk about the company. How are you looking at the agriculture trade? There is a lot of backdrops right now, as we talked about, whether it's about weather or macros. But looking at expansions going forward, especially in case of India, what are your plans for 2024?
What we are doing in India for 2024 is actually, there are a couple of things. One is that we believe that, agriculture, from agriculture and much more further development into the food processing. And what we are doing is we have invested into a new innovation lab in Gurgaon, which is about a year old, creating new food solutions. The biggest change that's happening within Cargill is also about the way we work. Cargill had 3 independent businesses about a year back, which is the edible oil business across the world, starches and sweetened texturizers, and cocoa and chocolate. Today, what has happened is these 3 businesses have come together to become one big business, which becomes the largest food ingredient business in the world. The purpose of this is to put the customer in front. Customer becomes a critical, important reason. Instead of 3 companies going to a customer, it is going to be one company that goes into, and also about bringing innovation between all these 3 product lines into one to a particular category. Maybe it's a bakery, it could be a convenience, it could be a dairy. But the fact is that we're changing the way we are working. Our our approach to the customer is changing. It's more about innovation driven for the future. And that's a big change that's happening across Cargill. And we are a year down the line. This is helping the business to grow. It's actually helping bring more value to the customer when we go into and give them food solutions rather than selling a product.
Simon, I have been wanting to ask you about the Cargill innovations, but apart from that, you're also working towards regenerative agriculture. I also want to understand on what is the new offering Cargill is putting on the plate in sense of products, services, and the retail market, which seems to be ever growing.
We have recently built our business into 3 different channels. One is the consumer facing, which is the B2C business. And here we have introduced a couple of new products in the last 6 months. It's the cottonseed oil, the coconut oil, the areas where we were not there. We believe this is the future. It's about also creating a base of domestic oils. As our dependence on imported oil is something which we want to drop by 2030 and go more and more into domestic. So we are looking into 3 plays of coconut oil, cottonseed oil, and mustard oil. So that's one thing that we are investing in the B2C. And the second channel we talk is the B2B. The B2B is the business that we talk about how innovations across the world. We are a strong B2B company across the world. How do we help Indian companies in terms of innovation? So we are investing into new product lines there. Like you just now said, we are into pea protein, which is called Radipure, which gives you, we all know that India is a protein deficient country, and we are trying to bring in protein fortification. We are looking at bringing in, being a diabetic world, we are bringing in sweeteners for the beverage world. These are all new. We are bringing in a product called Epicor, which is a postbiotic one for good digestive health. And these are things that is going to change the way we work from what is our past. I think these new launches are really going to drive Cargill's business. And what would happen what our aim is to become a much more innovative and high value-added products as I start our journey to 2030. We'll definitely start moving from in the pyramid from a base to a higher level value-added products to the customer. That's a differentiation that you're going to see from Cargill in the coming years, and 2024 will become very critical in launching many of those products.
All right, we will look forward to all of that, Simon. That's a long list, and we wish you the best that Cargill actually offer all of those services, products, and solutions in food to the Indian consumers there. But with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Commodity Champions. Thank you so much for watching.
CNBC-TV18, embarking on a quarter-century of excellence.